I knew when I got up there that your word was everything. So if you told somebody you were going to vote for a bill, you couldn't then go to him and try to explain that you weren't voting for it. So I never did that. I was careful. When I gave my word that I would vote for it, I did. And a couple of times that created some political problems. I gave my word that I would vote for a bill that my editor of my newspaper, the Monterey Park Progress, really wanted. So I gave him my word that I would vote for it. And then the Democratic majority went the other way on that bill, and I was stuck out there voting with the Republicans. But I felt that it was more important to incur the temporary wrath of my party than to break my word to a publisher of a newspaper in my district, which would have a lot to do about how I was perceived by the electorate. I was hardworking. I would fly down to LA almost every night and go to an event, attend an event, handing out scrolls and presenting things, making presentations to Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups, etc. And my pal Willard Yamaguchi from Monterey Park still reminds me that his wife Billy had on their wall a plaque that I had presented to her, and she kept it with great pride over the years. It was one of hundreds that I gave away. I also spent time paying attention to the mechanics of elections. And I was up on registered voters in every assembly district, issues that affected others. And when it came time to select a majority leader, I was a natural for that position because I had paid so much attention to getting people elected in these remote districts. And I remember going to some districts where these candidates had no idea what the Democratic position was on an issue. And I would step in on an interview. One, I remember the newsman was interviewing the candidate running for the assembly in Fresno. And he asked him a question, and I felt a tugging on my trouser leg. And I realized that this guy was tugging on my leg because he didn't know the answer. And so when the newsman finished asking the question, I stepped in and answered the question. After I did that 2 times, the third question, the newsman just asked me the question, didn't ask the candidate the question, because he knew the candidate wasn't going to be able to answer him. I got along with everybody. I was pleasant to everybody. I was available if they wanted me to come to their district. I was, remember, single at the time, so I didn't have any wife or children or anything getting in my way. I could make my own schedule, and I could be traveling a lot. At one point, I hired an airplane on standby at Sacramento Municipal Airport, one of those Mixmasters, as I recall, with a propeller in front of the cabin and the propeller behind the cabin. And I would fly off to various locations in California and be the principal speaker at the dinner, helping the constituents in that area to elect a Democratic assemblyman or helping the assemblyman get reelected.